Welcome to Board Games and Chill. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jerome.
And today we are doing a review on Marvel Champions Galaxy's Most Wanted.
We're going to do the review in two parts. The first part's going to be spoiler-free, and the second part's going to have spoilers throughout.
Yep. Okay. So, and especially it's spoilerish because it is a campaign game. So, we don't want to give out too many spoilers. And
for anybody that might have played Red Skull Rising or Rise of the Red Skull, they've changed the campaign a little bit and it feels completely different. So what happens in this isn't exactly how the other campaign works. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that nobody gets spoiled for the surprises that might or might not be in this one.
Perfect. All right. So Jerome, what do you think about the theme of the game? Of this expansion box,
it fits. I've come to like Marvel Champions more than like Legendary because you're actually playing a Marvel hero as opposed to Legendary where you're just recruiting different heroes to be on your team. To me, this fits thematically.
Yes.
You're playing the heroes. You're chasing after the bad guys, and you're having to pay for these cards to do these moves. My character, I played Rocket, which is one of the characters coming in. The other is Groot, who you played. Playing as Rocket felt pretty thematic because there's lots of tech on his board, and that to me that feels just like Rocket.
Yeah. So for me, the theme fits pretty spot on. You feel like you are in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They're always getting chased, they're always getting gunned down, they're always people after them because they did something wrong. It's a very smuggler Guardians of the Galaxy kind of feel to it. The characters we played as, I felt like they felt thematic. For Groot, he had these growth tokens, so he got bigger and stronger, and then he used those growth tokens to protect himself and protect others. Mainly Rocket. So I thought the theme on this game was pretty spot on, and I felt the theme was way stronger than it was in the Rise of Red Skull box.
Agreed. For me, Rise of the Red Skull felt like they just took a bunch of different characters and tossed them together and made you fight them to get to the Red Skull.
Yeah, I felt like it's just like one day we'll play 5 games of Champions, and that's what we did.
And while the story isn't in-depth here, because I like in-depth story, the story is more cohesive, and you actually feel like you're on this adventure.
Yep. And it just works thematically very well. What do you think about the artwork in this game, the characters?
The artwork is fantastic. There's a couple of cards that are like, why'd they go with that art? Choice. I mean, that really just But as far as look at the box. The box is just amazing. When you look through the campaign book and you see the comics that are drawn out, fantastic.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, the comics in it look really fleshed out, full art. It's really pretty. Now, would you replay this campaign again? Is it one and done for you? And you break down for the heroes and villains?
Definitely not one and done. Like I said, I like story driven. There's not much story here. But I think if you're changing up heroes and playing it again, you're gonna get a different game.
Yeah.
So I think the replay value is on the mid to low high level.
Yeah, replay value is really high on me on this one. I really enjoyed the sequence of villains, how tough they were. This was an extremely hard campaign, especially compared to Rise of Red Skull. And I would like to see playing other Guardians through it. And especially since I felt in this one, the aspects didn't work out as well as I wanted to for this. It compared to Rise of Red Skull, where we had Spider-Woman and Hawkeye. Those characters felt the right amount of strength, the right characters for those missions. This one, I felt we needed to thwart a little bit more or have more thwarting power. So
because on Rise of the Red Skull, we both played our decks as they came in the box. We didn't alter, add anything to it.
Correct.
A couple of missions into this, or a couple of scenarios.
I think the third one,
Yeah, we altered our deck and added. It comes with 40 cards in the deck. I added 9 cards to my deck to really even it out and make Rocket feel like he was playable in this game.
I did the same. Usually I like to run my decks lean. Usually I have 40 card max for me most of the time. But this one, you definitely feel you need a lot more cards in it. It's kind of like fighting Ultron where, he's taking away your cards and, you're really too lean and you're not getting what you need. And we ran out of deck. I never ran out of deck so much.
Yeah.
And this one I ran out of deck a lot.
I mean, this campaign is really tough. I mean, it was a struggle on some of those villains to get them, to beat them.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to do something a little different just so that we could. So I agree that the decks are not quite built as strong as they could be.
Yeah, definitely. Usually I don't like the modified decks. Like we said, play vanilla how it's supposed to be for just going to the campaign the first time. Then after that, we'll modify the hell out of it. But definitely, you may want to consider adding some cards, take a look through your deck, see what can work. So did this expansion for you add any more rules that made it much more difficult or anything like that?
No.
It's pretty easy.
I mean, it added a couple of keywords, but the things that made it difficult were the actual villains.
Yep. Yeah, I like expansions like that where it's just plug and play. I don't want to learn a whole new rule book and this and that. A couple keywords, a couple things to look up, and that was it.
Yeah.
And especially for the campaign play about adding, at the end of the game, this is a campaign game, obviously, so you'll earn victory points in a way to use to purchase cards and stuff like that. So, and so what do you think about? Would you play this solo?
I've played it solo, not the campaign.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I played Champion solo. I've not played this one solo. Yes, I would play this solo. I might two-hand it.
Yeah, I would not. Yeah. Usually a solo for me for this Marvel Champions games is usually I use one character, usually Captain America or Doctor Strange. This one you may need a power hitter and someone to thwart. I think my Captain America deck can do it, but I would prefer to do two-handed. So I'm not a huge fan of doing two-hand, so I probably wouldn't solo this one myself.
Yeah.
But I would fight the villains on their own by themselves. But
I would get the campaign to go as a solo just to see how it ran. But yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. All right. So you want to start? Is there anything else you want to talk about before we do spoiler stuff?
No.
All right. So we'll do spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All right. Spoiler shield's up. Boom. All right. So Jerome, what are some of the spoilers you want to talk about?
One of the things I really thought was a great change from Rise of the Red Skull to this is that you fight the Collector twice.
Yes.
This is one of the. I mean, you literally you're infiltrating his museum to look for the Power Stone, and then you're having to escape the museum to try and get to the Milano and get out of there.
And I remember the stream. Fancy Flight did a stream about. It kind of made me sad, if I'm being honest. Rise of Red Skull hasn't even came out yet, and they're like, "Oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy big box is going to be much better." I'm like, "Oh, first of all, I haven't even got my copy yet." But they did mention about fighting the Collector twice. They tried to do him in one deck, but it just didn't work out, and I can see why it didn't work out. It would have felt either too short to do, phase 1. You go in there. Phase 2, you have to escape.
Yep.
I think he would have had it been like a 3 mission one completely. But
I mean.
I like that. No, you're fine. I think it was a smart move for them to do a 2.
Yeah, because the way they did it is the Collector was a normal villain that you had to fight, and then when you were escaping
he trapped you.
Museum, he trapped you, and as you were trying to escape, the Collector turns into an infinite boss.
Yes,
meaning you can hit him all day long, and you're not going to kill this villain. The way you beat this is through the schemes.
Yeah. We had to break down, or we had to go all the way through the thwarting or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was cool because it was pretty thematic. The way it worked was basically just a timer. We're waiting. And in my head, I'm imagining we're trying to escape, do this and that. And then all of a sudden we got lucky. Power went out. And, lucky. Nebula comes through and then she spanked her butt.
Bro.
Oh, man. So we lost, I guess. We forgot to talk about, we had Drange, Nebula, Ronan, and Collector. Drange, we lost against Strange.
Yeah. Right out the bat, he just took us out.
Yeah, he took us outside for a beating. And then Nebula, I think we lost against her once or twice.
Nebula, I like her deck because one of the things she does is when you draw an encounter card, if it's a tactic, it goes under her just like a weapon would.
Yeah.
And she can have a stack of tactics, 4 or 5 cards long, and then it they hit and hit and hit one after the other.
Very Nebula-esque.
It's like she's jumping and dodging and diving and ducking.
Yeah, it's very Nebula. You feel that ferocious attack, that aggression that she has, and it's interesting because who is it? I think Gamora will have Nebula as a nemesis or an ally too. Yes, both nemesis and ally. So I wonder how she would play through this campaign. Like you won't be able to use her as an ally or a nemesis. So it's kind of interesting. Well, I mean, I guess you will be able to use her.
Yeah, you should
just
be able
not,
to use her nemesis.
Just only 4 out of 5 missions. Because you can't have 2 nemesis on the table.
I wonder how that does work then.
You won't be able to use it. So that Gamora would be an interesting character to play in this. But you also short 1 card because you can't use her as an ally. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, I think the overall campaign was really good though. Just the art, now we can show this because spoiler. And just the art alone, oh my goodness! Like
one of the things I do like about this rule book, as opposed to like Rise of the Red Skull, is they put all the keywords from all of the game in this, so you don't have to go to your main rule book to look up what the keywords are. When we had Rise of the Red Skull, we had to pull out the main rule book just to remember a keyword or that. Yeah, because we don't run into them as often.
So. And what I like about this too, there is 2 main things I will be using in every game now. I will use the Power Stone and I use the Nebula ship.
Oh yeah,
if I could.
The Power Stone. Do you mind if I talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Power Stone is pretty cool because it goes to a character, whether it's a hero or a villain. Yeah. It's +1/+1. So +1 threat or thwart and +1 attack. The way the cool mechanic is that when you hit whoever has it for more than 3 points of damage, you get to collect the Power Stone from them. So when we were fighting when we were fighting Nebula, it was back and forth a couple times. I let Groot have it because it added to what he was doing.
Because the way it worked with Groot is that he would get these growth tokens on him, so he would never take damage. So I would always have that +1/+1. It worked out really well. For Rocket, he's pretty squishy, so he would go back and forth.
Literally, Rocket was taking more than 3 damage every single turn. Yeah. And the way he didn't die was that Groot kept blocking.
Yeah,
and so between Nebula and Groot, it kept flipping back and forth, 3 or 4 times. But when we got to Ronan, Ronan was hitting pretty hard, and he was able to keep that for a good bit.
Yeah, I was able to keep Groot's life up for most of the time. Yeah, I think I did end up losing Groot 1 time before the end, and I think you finished him off, or was it vice versa?
I think it was vice versa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rocket died, and Groot was able to finish him off.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Let's see. I really like. Yeah, I mean, Ronan was super tough. Yeah,
because he also starts out with like three side schemes.
Yeah,
and one of them is an acceleration token. One of them is an extra encounter card, and I forget what the other one is, but it sucks.
Yeah, this campaign is so scheme heavy. It's insane. That's why I say you need someone to knock out schemes quickly because. Groot had protection, Rocket had aggression, and we need someone with justice to take care of those.
Yeah, because Rocket was able to fluctuate between, his main thwart is 2, and he has a couple cards that bump that to 3, maybe 4. But it's hard to balance that when you can do 4 thwart. But then with his tech abilities on the table, I can do 8 damage, 10 damage. So it's kind of
it seemed like almost wasted at that point.
Yeah.
Also, what upset me with the decks, if I'm being honest, is they only came with 1 ally each.
That's true. Yeah.
My deck added, I think, 3 or 4 cards, and all of them were allies. Because first of all, I'm used to playing Captain America, and I used to having those allies to protect you. Yeah, I'm not used to flipping, and Groot, I had to flip a couple times because I needed those growth tokens, and that was one way to get them. Rocket had to heal, It's just I'm not used to flipping as much as I have been. So this one made me play very differently than I'm used to.
What did you think about their team up card?
Team up card. I think it was good. I think mainly most of the time Rocket gave me the team up ability because it gave me, I think, the growth tokens.
Yeah, I felt it was necessary because you were blocking all the time. So it's like
he was benefiting himself in a way for the most part. I liked Groot's special cards because it allowed him to untap for cheap or free. And he needs to untap so I can defend for everyone else.
What do you think about their Nemesis deck?
Dude, Rocket's Nemesis deck sucks.
Yeah.
That one sucks. Groot's, I don't even remember. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
The Rocket's Nemesis came into play a couple different times. So did his, because we got that damn treachery card. That brought your
Shadows of the Past.
Shadows of the Past.
And it's funny because I heard people, I've played 90 games, never had Shadows of the Past. That game, I think we had it 3 times.
Yeah, we get a good portion too. And but this campaign, we got it at least 3 times, and it sucks. Rockets
is the worst because
that
bunny character, terrible. I don't even know who that is, but if he's not out, then one of his cards go to an enemy instead, and that's just worse.
Yep.
What do you think about the bounty hunters coming back every game?
Oh yeah, that's Drang's little Badoon guys.
Yep.
One of the things that you do is when you move from campaign to campaign, if you defeated or done something with the Badoon, it starts building and adding up. So one of the ones we got is a Badoon Headhunter, and he followed us to every campaign, and he sucks.
Yeah, and even if we defeat them, I think there's more that come because they are angry that you defeated them, and they are going to chase you down. So
the more you do, the more you get.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I like this campaign. I know it was super tough and it was stressful. And I definitely think it'd be a little less stressful if we played with different aspects and characters.
Yeah, don't go into this campaign thinking you're just going to outright beat it. You're not. You're going to die, and you're going to die a fucking lot.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
No.
I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we will be doing more. So expect us all the time, every day.
Peace.
Take care.